Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the WMU Library Minute. In this series, we'll be talking about various study aids and secondary sources critical for your law school success. Today, I'd like to talk about one of the most popular and long-standing library study aid series out there, the Understanding series from LexisNexis. You may have seen an Understanding entry show up as a recommended or even a required text on the syllabus from some of your classes. And while every title is obviously unique in terms of content, they bear enough form and function in common that we can discuss them collectively. Before we jump into talking about Understanding, we should have a quick refresher on why your required casebooks, the central texts for your classes, are designed the way they are. You've probably heard one of the main purposes of law school is to teach you to think like a lawyer. And a big part of that training is getting you to read published opinions and understand what they mean, what they declare, and what they leave open. Casebooks play their part in this by, as the name suggests, reprinting full appellate opinions and calling upon the reader to figure out what is meant to be taken away from the text, rather than taking the easy way of just telling her the bright line rules. In this way, your casebooks are trying to train your reading comprehension, along with teaching you substantive law. And while I'm going to pass on discussing whether this is the best way to do either, it's not hard to imagine the latter, your learning of the substantive law, falling through the cracks a bit. The goal of the law school study aid is simply to tell you that substantive law and to make sure you don't miss anything as you improve your opinion reading chops. Understanding has a lot more in common with your casebooks than a lot of secondary sources on the market. In fact, you could probably be forgiven for not seeing a lot of difference. In my opinion, you could do worse than considering them casebooks without cases, which is a big reason why I wanted to start with them. You might recall from the first video that legal secondary sources tend to use the law school casebook as a baseline for format and then deviate in various ways based on the goals of the author and the needs of the intended audience. Viewed in this light, it makes sense that Understanding doesn't stray too far into the woods. The series is geared towards the exact same audience. In Understanding, you'll see content that likely conforms to your expectations of what a textbook should be, at least from your undergraduate experiences. Here, we have a discussion of the history leading up to Erie Railroad v. Tompkins, a case you'll encounter in civil procedure. If this were a casebook, we'd probably just jump right into reading Erie Railroad. But in Understanding, we'll instead get the author's view on what led up to that case, what it held, and why it's been so influential. In short, Understanding tells law students what they need to know about the important cases and why they need to know it. It bears repeating that while Understanding can be a powerful tool for, well, understanding the content of your classes with a lot more clarity than what your casebooks offer, it's no replacement for reading the cases themselves. Case reading and briefing are, again, important skills for attorneys which you're expected to be developing as you go through and learn the law. That said, Understanding is a powerful tool for checking your work, that is, making sure you took away what you were supposed to from your assigned reading. Understanding runs the gamut of common law school subjects. As we'll see in every one of these videos, the publication of secondary sources and study aids is driven by consumer demand, and the demand by law students for high-quality, comprehensive study aids that clearly lay out what every student will need to know on a given subject is, as you can imagine, very high. We have all these titles and more available at the 4 WMU Cooley Law Library locations, as well as the LexisNexis Digital Library. And if you wish to buy an Understanding volume for yourself, I'm happy to report that they're quite reasonably priced. That's all for now. Please check back for our next video where we will be taking a look at the long-running Nutshell series. Thank you, and see you again.